It's Ron Reader digs the universe. I'm Ron Reader, and this is Ron Reader Digs the Universe, and tonight, Greg Abbott's Operation Lone Star. There was a classic South Park episode, Last of the Mohicans, that shows the neighborhood boys playing a game called Texans versus Mexicans. The kids divide themselves into two groups, Mexican immigrants and Border Patrol. The immigrants' objective is to get into Texas without encountering the Border Patrol, whose objective is to stop the immigrants. Cartman, of course, is so good at the game that he ends up joining the actual Border Patrol and playing his game in real life. Hilarity ensues. Texas Governor Republican Greg Abbott, like Cartman, is also playing a Border Patrol game in real life, which he calls Operation Lone Star, but the results are anything but hilarious. They're downright fucking serious, in fact. The governor has involved himself in the dirty business of human trafficking, sending multiple busloads of unsuspecting asylum seekers to perceived liberal cities. There have been reports of DPS officers and Texas National Guardsmen depriving immigrants of water and pushing them into the Rio Grande. Abbott has erected floating barriers in parts of the Rio Grande, dubbed drowning machines by critics. The barriers are likely already responsible for causing 2 immigrant deaths. Mexico and a kayaking company are suing the state about this for various reasons, but the governor is undeterred. He wants to win his version of Texans versus Mexicans. His latest game strategy is pretty sleazy. DPS officers have been luring immigrant families into situations such that they can be arrested for trespassing. The fathers are then put in jail, the mothers and children are detained elsewhere. Nobody is told anything about where anybody is being taken. Family separations, essentially, not even a stone's throw from what Trump was doing with his child separations. Now, this practice has gotten so bad in one town, Eagle Pass, that the city council has forbidden DPS officers from enforcing local trespassing laws. Abbott is bound and determined to prove that no one is tougher on immigration, or rather, immigrants, than he is. And, you know, I'm genuinely perplexed about what's driving Abbott with all of this shit. You know, for a while there, I was thinking that he was going to be running for president like his fellow immigrant-abusing Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida, but that doesn't appear to be the case. I mean, you know, there's racism as a motivation, a whole lot of shitty, foul racism. That's what's driving Operation Lone Star overall, you know, racism. But why now? Is it just the influence of Fox News and Trump? Because there ain't nothing much actually happening on the ground at the border. You know, yeah, there's been an uptick in immigration over the last, few years, but it's not much higher now than it was under the Obama administration. According to the Washington Post, border towns are not being overrun by immigrants. Indeed, COVID restrictions on immigration have been hurting city revenues and local economies. The whole right-wing border crisis thing appears to be not much more than another Benghazi, a fake Republican outrage. What we need, say local leaders along the border, is comprehensive immigration reform, a good, solid policy that actually addresses issues and can't literally be gamed by Republican politicians seeking to titillate their voters. Of course, conservatives will never let that happen. So Greg Abbott's savage version of Texans versus Mexicans, Operation Lone Star, will continue to fuck up blameless refugees for the foreseeable future. And, you know, it's bullshit. I'm Ron Reeder, and this has been Ron Reeder Digs the Universe. Join me, Ron Reeder, again next week for another episode of Ron Reeder Digs the Universe.